Welcome to Suppose, where authors discuss the extraordinary. I'm James B. Hassell,
And I'm Sarah Jaune.
and this week we're discussing the hidden meaning of werewolves. Because it's October, and that seemed like a thing to do.
It does seem like a thing to do. Hmm.
And everything has a hidden meaning.
Absolutely.
Well, some things have obvious meanings. We're going with hidden meanings this time. And on werewolves, I just like that it's people in nature, and it's people going crazy. And you get things like
Hmm.
the moon affecting mental health.
Hmm.
It's where we get the word lunatic
Yes. Lunacy.
and lunacy. Not
Poor Luna
Luna.
Lovegood.
Oh, yeah. Loony, loony, loony. Love good.
Mhm. Yes, I like, oftentimes I think of werewolves as men, but they're
Hmm.
not all men.
Not all, but
And
it tends to be a theme, which is.
it does, which I think is an interesting, because when you think of cycles with the moon, you think of like your period and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So is it menstruation and PMS is the werewolf representation of the craziness of getting your period, or is it that the only way for a man to survive a woman's period is to turn into a werewolf and go run in the woods?
I haven't heard that theory posed before. It's a good
Well,
one,
I'm
though.
just saying.
Once a month, we go to the woods to go, quote unquote, hunting.
Yes, yes.
It's just because we need to be out of the house for, a good 3 days.
Right? So, is that I, it's something that I thought of. Like,
It
did
is,
they subconsciously come up with this concept so that they can escape
yeah, it is
their
very possible.
spouses?
And then you do have to kind of tie it into men going out on a hunting trip. They are a bit more barbaric than they would be at home.
Hmm.
So they would show their wolfish tendencies at that time.
That's true. Hmm. Yeah. So the fact that it's men, but I mean, if it's a woman and a werewolf, then
Mhm.
I'm just glad that they don't sparkle.
Yeah, I'm really glad they don't sparkle. They're not anime guy.
Yeah.
Because,
Hmm.
just turning into a wolf at will, that's not a werewolf.
I think we're a little bitter.
I'm very bitter.
Maybe jealous too.
I'm
Like,
not jealous.
well, she got all that success.
Yes, I mean, of that one very particular part. But then you have to ask yourself the question, as an author,
Uh-huh.
would you take that much success in return for writing that quality of book?
No,
It's a very,
that's not
very
even
Faustian deal. And it's, no. I, I like, my name isn't much, but it's all that I got. We're going to go
It is. It
crucible
is
on
true.
this. It's my name.
My best friend loved Twilight,
Mhm.
and now I mean, like, if you're not necessarily like, if you just want a plot, I mean, except for the whole sparkly thing, it had its moments, and it was not like the most boring book I'd ever read. So I will give it that, but it was just very badly written,
I don't know.
so painful. The dialogue was painful. I know you didn't like any of it,
The
but
fucking book gave me a headache, like full blown
yeah,
migraine. I had,
you're more particular and you're more brilliant
yeah.
than I am. Therefore, your brain cares more. Mine is dulled and dumbed down by way too many children. My
Fair.
friend's 4-year-old told me I have too much children, and I thought that was the best way of putting it. Like,
Yeah.
I adore them, but they kill every brain cell I have. So my standards are there, but they're, you know,
Hmm.
not as high as yours. So I just,
Okay. I
yeah,
mean,
it was, but I think it was just, oh God.
even I, though,
I think he
like,
had an interesting take on the werewolves, though.
even I, oh, I don't remember the name of the series now. It's a dumbass romance novel about vampires.
And it's not Twilight?
It's not Twilight. It's like adult romance
Okay.
novels.
Okay.
Uh,
It got kind of steamy at the end of it, so
Brotherhood of something, or I don't know.
I
Ev-
know.
The series is moronic. Every book ends with a Deus Ex Machina. I know it's bad, but I enjoyed them.
Oh, well, okay.
So I can enjoy some dumb entertainment. Twilight just broke my fucking skull. It couldn't. Uh, it was so just no. Gave me a migraine. I had to stop midway through chapter one, read something else that was good, and then go back and finish chapter one. That's
Oh,
how my experience with Twilight began.
oh, that's so sad.
And I'm a movie nerd, and I watched the movie, and uh,
The movies were
bad.
they were beautifully done though. Like as far as the cinematography, I really liked that. I thought they had some great shots.
I thought it looked like shit.
Really? Oh, okay.
Especially very, very specifically like the baseball. That looks so fucking
Oh no,
awful.
that was no, like the pretty nature shots. Those were really nice.
They had some of
And
the
some
nature
sparkled,
shots, yeah.
and then he
Some
ruined it.
some of the panoramics were okay. The location was fine. I love the dreariness of the Northwest.
Yeah, and they captured that really well.
Hmm.
Like, if you've ever been up there, you know that's what it looked like.
I
A
haven't, but
good portion of the time.
it some of it looked good, but like just the actual framing of things and
Okay,
the effects and
fair
the
enough.
fucking awful acting.
Yeah.
Every line delivered more monotonous than I am right now. I don't. I can't.
Okay.
But I will make an addendum. Breaking Dawn Part 1, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best comedies ever made.
That's just mean.
I
True.
laughed my ass off at that movie.
Mean.
It was fucking hilarious. Especially since I knew the book going into it. I'm like, oh god, just please make it like the book and this will be a work of genius. And they made it like the book. And like, that bitch had her fucking spine broke by the kid and they filmed it. And it was amazing. The funniest fucking movie of that year.
Uh-huh. Well, that's one way of looking at it.
Hmm.
I did like, so to get back to werewolves, though,
Yes,
I
werewolves
did
and
like
their meaning.
her take on them. That the werewolves were the hunt, because I think you and I talked about this once, that they seem to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like the werewolves, because they crave the full moon,
Hmm.
would be out then. If the vampires are truly repelled by sunlight, then the full moon would be dangerous to them because it's a reflection of the sun.
Yeah. So like in
So
my
I did
fantasy
like
world,
that the
I did
werewolves
that.
were there as a counterbalance to the
Hmm.
vampires. I thought that was an interesting take.
Yeah, but werewolves being a counterbalance to vampires has long existed before Twilight.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Like I think Underworld did it. I
bad.
think that was before
See, that's how
Twilight.
much I don't know
Yeah.
about all of this stuff, apparently.
Yeah. Now,
Okay, well,
in,
whoever came up with that was creative.
in my fantasy series, I was doing the full moon saps the vampires, and then the new moon saps the werewolves,
Hmm.
just for sun related reasons.
Okay. Interesting.
I did think that
Huh.
would be a fun way to approach that. That series
Although,
has not been begun yet, but it's all in my head.
oh, so if it's just moonlight
Hmm.
or sunlight, I mean, so the vampires turn back into people during the day.
No.
So they still have a full day of sunlight.
Yeah.
So
It just
that's
they'd be more stronger at night for those reasons. But
more stronger.
werewolves are just humans during the day.
Sorry.
You cut out.
Yeah. Sorry, you said more sun and you oh crap. More better or something like that. So I started laughing at you.
Oh, it's fine. I'm slightly tired. I will say dumb things at this point.
It's all good. So, yeah. Oh, well, Twilight, it's epic fail or comedy. I don't know which. Amazing comedy. It spawned the greatest thing of all, which was 50 Shades of Grey, which is the best comedy of errors of our time. So we can just let it go at that.
I don't even know if that's a comedy. I couldn't even sit through that one.
No. Nope. So.
Yeah, the whole it. I guess you could find it a comedy considering like half the
It's
book
really
is a
sad.
contract negotiation.
Yes.
That's fairly funny for a
She
person,
had
no
to,
less.
start out.
hmm
Yeah.
That's hilarious in 2017.
So something else, like the full moon with cycles and whatever,
hmm
um, to get back to the uncomfortable period talk, because, any man who actually, because apparently they can't listen to this.
Really?
That still makes me mad. The review I got. Like, I can't read this book. She talks about periods, and it's like,
yeah.
wow,
I remember
you
that.
should not have been born.
I mean, that's a little harsh.
Good Lord,
but...
grow the fuck up.
Growing
Anyway.
up's the better advice, yeah.
Grow up. You will never get married.
It's a
Congratulations.
thing. It happens. I mean,
it's like, what is it? Why is it such a big deal?
I
But
don't know.
so
It
something
doesn't bother
like
me.
people say that people are crazier during the full moon, and there's more crime during the full moon.
Mhm.
And I've heard from midwives that there are more births during the full moon.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of research that backs that, but at the same time, like, a good number of women who are giving birth in this country now are being induced. So their actual, when they would have gone into labor, is not there.
No.
It's just, an artificial date picked by a doctor.
Mhm.
Or for whatever reason. Like, I'm not saying you should be induced. I'm just saying you don't have actual data that can back that up because you have artificial dates.
Yeah.
So, but the midwives who are doing home births are saying that they get more clients going into labor at the full moon. And since they don't do inductions, I think that's probably, I'd be interested to see what doing a national study on that, just of that population, to see what it is. But I don't know. Like, do we think that people go crazy during the full moon? That research doesn't say that, but
Research also does suggest people sleep less.
really,
Like, even without access to windows. Like, it's not a light thing, it's just a body rhythm thing.
Interesting. Wow, I did not know that.
I didn't either, and I'd started to notice I sleep less during full moons.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking up things, and there's some correlation. Not saying it's
It's a thing.
causation.
Right.
There's some evidence to maybe think that it could be a thing, yes.
Huh.
Because I always just figured
That's-
it was the actual light, because I'd be tossing and turning, look out the window, and there's a bright ass moon.
Yeah. Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah. Well, I mean, if the moon full, that doesn't mean. Does that mean the gravitational pull is greater than?
No.
Or, yeah, I didn't think it did.
No, and
So it doesn't really have anything to do with that.
No, it has nothing to do with gravity. And
Yes.
Because the moon's gravity just has nothing to do with us. It affects water, but water is water. And yes, I know people are mostly water,
water.
but it
That's exactly what I was thinking.
it's not exactly the same.
Okay.
It's weird, but there's data that, or math, one of the two, that the moon doesn't affect us on that kind of level.
Okay.
Yeah, the only reason it affects oceans because or even lakes to that effect, but it's like the amount of water. It's just in the mass, in the momentum. Then you have
Okay.
an individual human, which we're not even a drop in like an ocean.
So, the full moon thing, like, do you know if when they were saying that there's no access to windows, it was like they're in complete pitch black?
Well,
or they just have shades? Because, I mean, I think the human eyes are reasonably competent at seeing things, so.
What it was, and this is the great thing about the report I read on this was they had been following the sleep patterns of people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a sleep study. So they went to sleep in the research lab like periodically,
Uh-huh.
and then they tracked their sleep at home. And then once that study was done, someone else went back and started seeing when the full moon was. It wasn't even part of the study. It was just a,
Nice.
yeah, completely retroactive look at a study that had already been conducted.
Huh. Okay.
And they found,
Fascinating.
yeah, so whether they were in the lab or recording sleep at home, the moon's phase, which they just timed up by the date, seemed
Right.
to have an effect.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, like,
Okay.
they weren't even looking for that kind of data. They just
So yeah, because if they're
used it.
in the sleep study
It's like a triple blind.
center, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, no, but if they're in the center to do a sleep study, then yeah, they're in the middle of a building that
Mhm.
probably does not have windows to access to it
Yeah. And,
because it's like in the yeah,
and even if it does have windows, it's probably not near the sleep part. And
right.
yeah.
Wow, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah. I thought
So,
that.
but I mean, if we are wired and we are cycled,
Mhm.
then our brains are extraordinarily smart,
Mhm.
even when we don't know it. Like we don't consciously think to breathe. So maybe,
Yeah.
the brain is aware of the full moon, and possibly if there was more shenanigans on the full moon, you sleeping heavy through that danger period
Mhm.
might not be good for you.
Yeah, I was just about to say there could be some kind of evolutionary link to it as well because
Yeah.
full moon, that's when you can go hunt because you
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
see around you. And
Yes.
that is when other people are going to be about.
That's
'Cause
so much nicer
with
than
natural
saying
light.
people are up to shenanigans.
Yeah, that too. I was going to say it's a double thing though. You have the
Yeah.
shenanigans and you have the animals. And both would
Yeah.
be an advantage for you to be up and about that night for a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah. I mean, if you can see, so if you're in the dark, it's easier to say and do things that you wouldn't otherwise normally do. I mean, everybody experiences this.
Mm.
I shouldn't make generalities, but like it's a thing. If you are in the dark, it's easier to say something that's embarrassing and not feel completely stupid about it than if it's light out, full blown light. Light really, literally is light to whatever it is they're saying
Yeah.
and doing. So if you want to go out and cause mischief
Mm.
in the evenings, it's easier to do so when you have at least sunlight. And so I would say that it, even though it doesn't necessarily mean there's more crime in the full moon,
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't more, we'll just say, shenanigans.
Yeah. And you'll hear doctors and nurses say there's more patients
Mhm.
coming in around that time, but I
Mhm.
don't know if there's any data to correlate that.
I don't know that this either.
Like I
Maybe
think
somebody
there's
will
data
know
for
and point us
both. Yeah, I've looked it up once, but I don't remember which way it went. I want to
on.
say it didn't correlate
Okay.
and that people were just noticing more on the full moon
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's a full moon and why wouldn't you notice? You hear these
Well, if you
stories and
are,
they get ingrained.
yeah, right? You're hyper aware
Hmm.
already on the full moon. Maybe the werewolf thing is more like a metaphor. Like you're just, for whatever reason, you're wired in to be more aware.
Hmm.
Werewolf seems like something that would be very aware of its surroundings and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? Do we know when the first werewolf um, mythology came about, or who came up with it? Do you have any idea?
I have some.
You have some idea?
Um,
Okay.
I don't know how accurate this is. This is, again, from a Wikipedia thing I looked up.
Oh, Wikipedia.
Uh-huh.
All right, go on.
It's the best source of information.
Absolutely.
And it kind of is. I don't care what people say, really. It's sourced. It at least
Mhm.
has that.
Mm.
But to the best of my knowledge, the first werewolf came from Bram Stoker in the sequel to Dracula.
Interesting.
It's either the sequel or the cutout chapter. I think it was the sequel, though.
Okay.
And
But he wasn't the one who came up with vampire, right? Or is he?
yeah, he did vampires.
Okay, I totally. Yeah, he came up with the concept.
Hmm.
Okay.
Again, to
Continue.
the best of my knowledge, he was the first to write a story about a vampire.
Okay.
Whether he was
Well,
influenced or not by Vlad the
folklore.
Impaler or folklore
Right.
is different.
Okay.
But the actual creator, that I think that would be him.
Okay.
And he seems to be of werewolves, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. I haven't read it or anything like that.
Creative bastard, man.
Do I?
Creative bastard. He came up with the best stuff.
Yeah, if he came up with
And
both
all
of
the
those,
best
mad
ideas.
props.
Yes.
Because he
Although
also,
unfortunately they'll be soon co-opted by Donald Trump, and then there'll be sad times. But that's okay.
be co-opted by what?
By Donald Trump, and it'll be sad
Oh.
times.
Yeah.
'Cause it's the best idea.
Yeah.
So-
Well.
Today, we are recording this on the day that Donald Trump spoke to the president of the Virgin Islands without realizing that was him.
Hmm.
So, good times.
I mean, it's just a territory. It can have its own president. It'll be fine. No one will care.
Exactly. And I can say that because my mom figured she lost her Facebook app, so she's not going to yell at me for being critical of Donald Trump.
Oh, nice.
Because she won't be able to get on and see this. I love that she's old enough that that's possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You should tell her to subscribe. She'll get automatic downloads.
Oh, no. I'm enjoying the fact that
Hmm.
she's no longer buying the fake news on Facebook as real, so that's amazing. We're just going to leave it that way.
She's buying the other fake news as fake.
I know, but there's only so much I can do. She's in her 70s,
Oh, yeah.
so, you gotta take small victories.
I like my...
Facebook being eaten on her iPad.
I have like the smallest victory, but it works for me, where my mother comes to me and asks which news to believe.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that one. That's my small victory of life, I think.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back to werewolves.
Well, the other part of werewolves is, and you can interpret this many ways, but I like it's just people. That's the monster in the dark.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether it's, they're in wolf form. No, it's still just a person, though.
It is. That's true. We all are monsters inside, and it's really just it's just giving voice to it. Although the monster sin only comes out once a month, but I mean.
Well, yeah, but we're going hidden meetings, and this would be one of them.
That is true.
I
did not think about it that way, but you're right. Yeah, because humans are just the worst animal. If you look at it.
I mean, in an objective sense, yes. Because it's like, not only do we like hunt for food, but we also do it to excess, and then we like enslave other animals and all each other and whatever
You're sounding
else.
vegan here.
I don't care. Fuck them too. I will eat a steak with your name grilled into it, vegan.
Oh, heathens. Yeah. We're the only ones who can like actually destroy the entire planet, and might at some point do that because
it's sort of a good thing.
Why not?
Though.
That we can destroy the planet.
No, that we're the only ones that can.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Imagine if sharks had nukes. I mean,
yes.
Or grizzlies. You don't want them any more scarier than they are.
Yeah. That's true.
I just had this thought of the undersea battle where the sharks and nukes are at mutually assured destruction.
Sharknado!
Yeah.
Takes on a whole new meaning then.
The sharks and dolphins just aimed at each other. It'd be amazing.
That would be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good visual.
This is a whole new story developing. I'm not going to write this one, though. Unless I'm just in a really fun mood.
Yeah. like campy or something with it.
Yeah, like it's coming.
But
It'll be the day I try psychedelics. I'm gonna outline that,
oh, that'd be fun.
and then look at it the next day, going, "What the hell is this
What the hell was
gibberish?"
I thinking? Exactly. Well, you go for that. I'll let you try that.
Yeah, we'll
Tell
see
me
how
how
that goes.
it works.
We'll have some werewolves in there just for fun.
Right? Because werewolves and dolphins mix.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know
Absolutely.
what you would call that.
I don't even want to know.
I was gonna say
Some-
were-dolphin. That'd be like a human turned into a dolphin.
Yes.
Also, why didn't that lore ever expand?
I don't know.
Like, you would want to be a werebear, right?
Ooh.
It's a horrible name, but
It is a really, really craptastic name.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be a werebear. I sound like a Care Bear.
it does.
It's like having a Care Bear with fangs or something. Like,
the werebear countdown. I want to know what emblem would be there. It'd just be like bloody skull on your stomach.
oh my god, that sounds awful.
I think I just created the emo Care Bears, and
You did.
and it's worth a fortune. No one
Yes.
steal that.
No.
I will make a T-shirt.
Yes. You heard it here, folks. First time. Oh my gosh. So, something that I heard on one of Jordan Peterson's lectures was that women use werewolves as a porn thing
Mm-hmm.
to be dominated over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a really interesting spin on this. The vampires sexualized have been going on for a while,
Yeah.
as far as I know. But this is an interesting one. Yeah.
Is it
It's amazing.
while they're wolves?
I don't know. I don't want to explore. You can go explore.
I don't know if I want
Yeah,
to
exactly.
either. It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
Though-
There's just things you can't unsee. So,
though
be careful with that.
there was a book series that was pretty successful, and it started with Moan for Bigfoot, and it is very much Bigfoot erotica.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. Why did you tell me that?
Oh, because just you
I didn't need to know that. I did bring it up. I'm sorry.
we were treading into
God.
the bestiality part of the show, and I just decided to wade on through.
Oh, man.
If you
That
thought,
was unfortunate.
yeah, it's just if you thought wolves were bad, wolves that are really men, by the way. I mean,
Right.
it's a weird kink, but whatever.
Yeah.
Wait till you get a load of Bigfoot.
Jeez.
I didn't read it. It was like free on Amazon, and I downloaded it, intending to read it for a laugh, and then just never got to it.
Oh my gosh.
So-
I'm crying because I'm laughing so hard.
So yeah, it's sitting there in my Kindle library.
You have to read it and then review it. You have to.
I will do this one day. I will make it an audio review.
Oh, holy crap.
Doesn't Kindle library have lending? I could lend it to you.
Oh my gosh. I I put Bigfoot in my last book series and they were like not sexualized.
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh.
See,
Okay.
I think that's like the secret to being a romance author. You have to like learn to objectify everything.
Apparently.
I could be wrong on that.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Ugh.
I don't really write romance, so we're good on that one. Maybe one day.
No, you do not.
It'll be
Maybe.
weird.
That would be weird.
It really would. I'll use a pen name.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Okay, now that we have hit everything and I'm not going to be able to unsee.
No, unhear, unsee,
Unhear.
unlearn.
Oh,
There is
God.
no unlearning some of this knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a weird one for me. Dominated by a wolf.
It is weird, right?
Which, I mean, I'm a guy, so I would hope that would be weird for me, but
Well, that is true. I think it speaks to, and I think we touched on this earlier, is that women want men to be men. It's so politically incorrect for a woman to say that
hmm
that
well, I think
it's just not a thing.
it's funny that, they want men to be men, so they look to wolves. Like, what?
And
All
maybe it's,
right.
I mean, is it their secret desire to have the bad boy?
I'm sure it is. I'm assured to myself that it is just that hint of danger within it. Danger is
Yes, but they're still
intriguing.
humans, so not completely bad, or I
Mm.
don't know.
I think there's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
I can fix you mentality going on.
Well, that is true.
Because you always look
Women
at
are
like
kind of hopeless that way.
you go to Twilight and it's the creepy stalker dude. I can fix you.
Yep.
And that goes for the vampire or the werewolf, by the way. It's that creepy stalker dude fits. Which you transition to 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, the broken billionaire. I can fix you. Because I'm 50 Shades of fucked up.
Yeah.
One of those shades is dumbass, but whatever.
All of the shades were dumbass.
Do it.
Especially because all of those shades were dumbass, especially because there's not 50 Shades of Grey.
I mean, there's
It's,
more than 50 Shades of Grey.
yeah,
I have
there are.
Photoshop. I can
There
Xcode
are
that
more.
shit. There's a shit ton of shades.
If you're gonna say something like that, you should at least be literal. That's
Wow. She was only worried about those 50 Shades of Grey. I don't even know where that title comes from.
I don't know either.
I,
I
I,
don't
just,
want to know.
I just know the 50 Shades of Fucked Up was the line in the book, which
It is.
that was a better line and a better title.
Oh, that's true. That would have been an awesome title.
hmm
I've been like, oh, all right,
It would have been
know
honest
where this is going,
advertising as well, yeah.
right? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. So yeah, the werewolves.
Uh-huh.
Is there a hidden meaning just that everyone's a little fucked up, or
I think so. And that cycles matter. And the moon is
cycles do matter?
important.
And the moon is important. It really used to be. It's not
It
as
did.
important.
No.
It's still fairly important. Like,
It should be important.
I mean, it is. We get waves from it, right?
We do. We get really cool orange blood moons,
That too.
which I love.
I love
We
the
get them
blood
here.
moon.
Yeah, here on the East Coast they're caused from sand from the Sahara Desert, which I think is just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's so damn cool.
I think sand is what causes all of them.
Yeah, well, here you only get the orange while it's rising, and then it goes away.
Yeah, same here. It's the best when it's rising, and then it's still kind of pale orange about 3/4 up. As soon as it's fully up, it's just normal moon again.
Yeah.
Then there's the blue moon, which I'm not entirely sure I've seen.
I don't think I've seen a blue moon either.
It only
Not-
comes once in a blue moon.
But
Yeah, that's sort of where I was going with that. Just bad puns and jokes all day.
yes. It's my oldest child. He's just a walking bad pun
Yeah.
encyclopedia. It's terrible.
The moon is.
Oh,
but
he's
yeah.
so embarrassing. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
man. Yes. This is not how this goes here. He's embarrassing me, and he's enjoying it. Because he, like, tucked his pants into his socks. And I'm like, I cannot be seen in public with you. Like, what? I'm just being myself. It's like, oh, gosh. Okay.
That sort of makes it
Tangent
worse.
done. Right?
Isn't that supposed to work the opposite way? Just
Yes,
you're
it
supposed to be
is.
embarrassing him.
Yes. I'm failing. Miserably failing.
You had to pull out the big guns.
No.
Just start going out in public talking about moons and cycles and periods. And...
Yeah, that wouldn't even bug him.
Oh, well,
Because I was always open and honest with him. Because that's where I went wrong.
yeah. So you've lost this game.
I did.
It's done.
Yeah.
Round 2 and 3 are to come.
It's all over with. My 13-year-old is way more comfortable with breastfeeding moms than most of the men in America.
That's pretty sad.
It is. It is.
And-
Awesome for him.
And good, yeah.
But
I was
sad.
just gonna ring in on that one where
Yeah.
sad but awesome. I'll say you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay.
But yeah,
All right. We should wrap this up.
yeah.
Get to bed
Monsters
'cause we're
lurk in
both
the dark.
tired and punchy.
And most of
And
the
we all
time
are
they're human.
monsters.
Yep.
Yep.
So until next time.
All right. See you next week. Bye.